It's Ethan from Rec Room Recording, and I just wanted to talk to you guys today and just continue talking about how you make money as an artist. So, yesterday we discussed sync music, and today I just kind of wanted to go into some more detail on with sync music and kind of how to reach out to a music supervisor, how to research what show you should actually your music would fit on, just the different steps that go into that. So before I get into that, we are going to have a recording workshop. We actually have moved the date till March 12th, so March 12th and 13th. So over the weekend, and we're going to be mixing, recording, mastering. This is a song for Lauren Grace, and she's a local singer-songwriter and just a great talent, and we're really excited about it. So if you're wanting to learn about recording and that process, go ahead and sign up. It's in our link in our Instagram and our Facebook, so lots of fun. But yeah, so yesterday we talked about sync music. So sync music is when someone licenses your song in a TV show, a movie, a documentary, and you get paid a licensing fee. So you get paid an upfront sync fee, and you get paid via royalty on the back end through your performance right organization. And we had talked about three main players, which are music supervisors, music libraries, and then sync agents. So today we're going to kind of talk about music supervisors. Those are the guys and gals that are selecting the music and placing the music for different movies and TV shows. So yeah, so we'll get right into it. So the first thing, and this has a lot to do with research and doing the work ahead of time so that you make it really easy on the supervisor, is you're going to want to research who you sound like, who your similar artists are, what do people say like you sound like. This is really helpful for you to research where these artists, and you're going to want to figure out some artists that have had a lot of success so that you can see where these artists have been placed in movies and TV shows to kind of narrow down, where your music would fit. Another thing, and this is in the research stage, right? So you want to know who you sound like, but also, when you're watching some, TV or, a movie, different TV shows, and you know that they're going to be coming in next season. And if you hear music that sounds like yours, write that down. That's a show that you should target, that you should want to try to get a placement on. So it doesn't just have to be who you sound like, but also, in general genres and styles. There's this show called, I think it's like Monarch, and it's this country music drama, and there's a lot of country music on there, right? If you're a country musician, that's a show that you'd want to target. Most likely they're going to have another season. You're going to want to look up the supervisor and get in touch with them. So that's the first thing, right? So similar artists, or figure out what kind of shows that you hear similar music to. The next thing is step two is this website called tunefind.com. So you can go on tunefind.com and you can look up let's say, for Kelsey and I, I'll use as an example, we're, an acoustic duet, kind of folk music with some pop elements, and some of our stuff has sounded like an older band, but they're called the Civil Wars. And so if you go on tunefind.com, you can, just type in the Civil Wars, and you can see all the movies, all the TV shows that they've been placed in. You can look for the current TV shows that are out there today, and then you can click on those shows and you can actually look and see who the music supervisor is, right? So you've done a ton of extra legwork for the music supervisor. Instead of them having to look up, what sounds like the Civil Wars, who do I have, all that kind of stuff. You can now target and that supervisor and give them something that actually is useful to them, right? Which will definitely make them happy and want to use your music. So TuneFind is a great resource, and you can, like I said, you can look up by show or artist. You can look up, what shows. Let's say you were listening and you were a country artist and you were watching Monarch. You can look up the show Monarch and look at all the songs that have been placed on that show to kind of understand, if you fit in that kind of genre. So the next thing is, right, TuneFind can show you the music supervisor. The other thing is, if you find, let's say, we found the show Monarch. You can go on imdb.com and you can scroll all the way down to the cast and crew, and you can look up the music supervisor on that show, and right, that's the person you want to contact, right? So I'll use Kelsey and I as an example again. So I told you, kind of our style of music is kind of acoustic, folk music, sort of with some pop elements, right? We have a few similar artists. We found that the show Heartland, which is, this long-running show, had music that really sounded like our music, kind of centered around acoustic, family, life. And so, right, going through this process, right, I found that Andrea Higgins is the music supervisor on that show. And they're currently producing for the next show, right? So just a quick Google search, found Andrea Higgins. She works for a licensing company, um, and she is, I think, a team of 3, right? And just going on her website, her email is right there, right? So we've kind of like down this funnel, instead of just being this, cold email blast where we just find as many contacts as we can and say, I think my music is awesome and would work for your movie. We've been really targeted, right? We've found who we sound like, what shows that are similar to the music that we have and that are pitching, and now we found that music supervisor, and you're going to want to look and see what they're working on next, which is on imdb.com. So I can see that Andrea is working on the next season of Heartland. So I have music that sounds like what she's using. I know who she is and her contact information. Now I can target a well-worded email to her and give her something that is actually of value. And so with that, you're going to want to construct an email right to her. So her email address is public and it's on her website. And so I can email her, and in the subject line I can put, indie folk music for the show Heartland that sounds like the Civil Wars and someone else that's been on that show, right? And that's the subject line. It isn't, hey, I've got new music, check it out, or hey, I'm really interested in working with you. It's really targeted, and it's basically speaking to what they need, right? What they want. So now, and I've talked to Andrea, so this is, almost cheating, right? Because I've talked to Andrea over Zoom, so I know like what she wants and how she wants it for email. But talking with a lot of music supervisors, this is all what they want. They want to be able to search their email, and instead of seeing thousands of artists that have emailed them music, if they can just search and say folk music for Heartland, and only 10 emails pop up and my email's there, right? That's going to stand out in the rest, instead of for them just scrolling and scrolling through their Gmail and not seeing, like kind of getting that kind of overload or basically decision fatigue. So this just helps you stand out, right? You want to be helpful. Like that's the whole point of this, right? You want to be helpful to the music supervisor and understand that they get hundreds of songs all the time from people who want to place, and they're working, right? They're working on the shows. So you want to make their job as easy as possible. So from there, right, your well-worded subject line and your email is simply, I love what you did on Heartland. These are the songs that I heard, and I thought they were really well placed. They sound a lot like my new songs, this, and this. And you're going to want to give them a streamable link. You're not going to want to attach an MP3 or a WAV file, because it'll just get flagged as spam. And it's just kind of like a larger size email. They're not going to want to look it up. You're going to want a streamable link, and you're going to want that link to be accessible, and you're going to want to keep that link alive for as long as you can, right? Because music supervisors may star that email or tag that music to come back to later. They may say, yeah, this is great. I want to use this later. So that link has to live on for as long as you want to do this, essentially, right? So that when they go back and they click that link and download the music again, or listen to it and then download it, right, they're going to be able to kind of find it. So that's kind of in a nutshell, really quick, high level, what it's like to contact a music supervisor, right? So we've done the research of finding similar artists, listening and watching shows that have similar styles of music to what we as an artist are producing. We've gone on TuneFind and found out just, let's say we used a similar artist, we found out what shows that artist is on, or we found out the music supervisor, and that can be on TuneFind or IMDb. So once we found the music supervisor, sometimes the contact info is on imdb.com, and other times, if you just Google it, right, they all have websites, they're all professionals, they all have contact because they want to be contacted with new music. So you can find their email, and then from there, a well-worded subject line and a well-worded email will go a long way to getting you to stand out from the rest, but also being able to be actually placed. And then I guess the final thing is, following up. I would traditionally wait, a month or two. Like I said, sometimes sync can be a long game in that, for instance, I talked about Heartland and Kelsey and I working with Andrea and getting placed on that show. They're still filming, right? And the sync supervisor or the music supervisor is on the end of things, right? So after everything has been filmed, edited, then they're coming in and putting the music on. So she's not expecting to actually start putting songs in until the summer, to where we find out what kind of placement we're going to be getting and all that kind of stuff. So sometimes it can take a bit, and the music supervisor isn't, ignoring you or mad at you. They just have a lot of work to do, and it's just not that time yet. So, following up with them in maybe a month or two, maybe 6 months is traditionally good. The next week would be bad. You don't want to kind of bother them. You don't want to sever a relationship, and you'll always want to think of it as you helping them, right? You serving them. That goes a long way in music and the music business, and those people will definitely repay that favor in the forms of syncing you and being able to place your songs. So yeah, that is, like I said, a high-level overview of sync music. If you have music that you are kind of thinking about that you think this would be good for, shoot us a streamable link. We'd love to hear what you've got. You could send us an Instagram message, a Facebook message, a YouTube comment, whatever you feel like. And we'd love to take a listen and give you some real-time feedback and let you know right away, if we feel like that music would be good for sync and if it meets the standards and qualities that music supervisors want. So tomorrow, same time at lunch, and I'm going to talk about basically being a producer as an artist. So everyone at Rec Room is an artist that works here. They all have their own artist path and music they create, but they also produce for a lot of other people, right? And that's an income they can make to support their art, and support them in general. And so just talk about a few different ways of how you can do that and what you need to learn and just different things like that. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. And I really appreciate you watching through, and I hope that